Now, I mean deterrence, not reaction. We should prevent it from happening by beefing up our deterrent forces, local police forces, and the armed forces. Why? If anybody asks me, what is your solution to the Mindanao problem? I would say, I don't know. Why? Mindanao problem is not a single problem. There are several local problems. Sometimes they fuse into an umbrella, for example, in central Mindanao. But Mindanao is so varied and so unique. Just like the Philippines, you cannot categorize a single Mindanao problem to a single solution. For example, I really disagree sometimes with copying paradigms from other countries like the IRA or the Ireland peace formula. This is the Philippines. There is no place in the world like the Philippines. There is no place in the world like Mindanao. If you place the Prime Minister of Ireland here in the Philippines, no matter how successful he will be in Ireland, I guess he's going to fail within a week. There is no place like here. Now, what I'm saying is the solution to the several problems in Mindanao should come from the Mindanaoans themselves, because they are the ones who are going to live with each other, going to have the greatest stake for the development of their land, and have the most to put into it. Lives have already been spent. I mean, fortunes have been made by those who are really from here and those who migrated here. Now, the solution is free the area from violence so that the issues can be discussed in an atmosphere of democratic debate and discourse. And so maybe solutions will come out. Let's start with local peace settlements. Let's continue the dialogue. However, there is one thing. Peace normally is not only wished or willed. It is not merely an attitude, but oftentimes it has to be enforced. And if that institution of enforcement is lost, then there is no peace. There is anarchy, or the government should always compromise with its principles as enshrined in the Constitution just because it cannot enforce the law. We cannot have that, because then you will have no sustainability of any peaceable condition. So to recap, I believe the solution should come from people of Mindanao. But the atmosphere must be free from the fear of violence, the fear of retaliation, or the fear of taking the law into one's own hands, because issues will be hurtful sometimes. Discussions will be heated. But let's keep it in the arena of exchange of ideas, not in the arena of taking the law into your own hands because of an emotion or hurt feeling. To me, that I'm not so ambitious as looking at the whole general peace formula. Stop the violence first, or the potential for violence.
How long do you think will it take you?
It will take quite some time. And let's call a spade a spade. Why? We only have 120,000 soldiers and the same amount of policemen for the whole country, with 92 million Filipinos, 7,107 islands. So we have to have time and choose areas first to secure, and let us do it progressively. For example, we have relative peace now in Maguindanao. Why? Because there are 6 infantry battalions in the area plus 1,000 policemen from outside Maguindanao. How long can we sustain that? We are sustaining it now because there's relative, there is a ceasefire with the MILF, which is so far holding. But if trouble becomes in one other place, then we'll have to move them out. Then same situation once again. Now, they're saying let us disarm. It is easy to physically disarm. But you have to have that deterrent for a very, very long time after you disarm a particular group. If not, once you leave, they're going to rearm once again. Let us remember, even Pastor, when people talk about smuggling, we always look at the Bureau of Customs.
Yeah.
But let's look at the fact that the Philippines has 34,000 kilometers of coastline. A Philippine Navy with 120 or so vessels only. And the average age is 47 to 48 years old. So how can we really stop smuggling? Let's not only look at the customs, but let's look at the whole country.
That's right. Well, to all the televiewers and those who are watching this program, We will not only be shooting the questions, but if you have any questions after the break, you can also text us, email us, or call us with those phone numbers that are flashed on your screen, and we will feed them to our guest. And I know that you will have a satisfactory answer. Secretary, you have claimed that your state as Chief of the Department of National Defense did not leave any stain of corruption whatsoever. Can you elaborate on this? And if you become president, how far are you willing to fight corruption in government?
My stint as Secretary of Defense, Pastor, really did not, because I had private sector watchdogs in all our procurement process. And I really was extra prudent, sometimes at the expense of expediency, in acquiring equipment or other financial issues with our department. And that was for 2 years and 3 months, and I really made it a point because to be a personal example that I will really not participate in any shenanigans, particularly when they involve the lives of Filipino soldiers. Cannot compromise with that. And you can never hide a secret in the Department of National Defense, no matter how small. It may not result in a prosecution, it may not result in a case, but you will see the snickering behind your back when they see you, or the avoidance, and you'll know that you've been marked as somebody who didn't do good. And unfortunately, that did not happen with me. Now, how far are we willing to go? We're willing to go a long, long way, Pastor, with personal examples and with non-tolerance of corruption. However, just like in medicine or in disaster risk reduction issues, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. The problem with the Philippines is we're dealing with corruption only on the curative side, when we have caught an instance of corruption. But do we try to prevent corruption at the core? I mean, we try to do so with value formation, which is very important. However, let us also realize that as the world progresses, it becomes more materialistic. It's a function of progress that we have really to deal with. And as new things come on in life, they become necessities and not merely luxuries. Example is the cell phone. How many cell phones are there in the Philippines? 69 million, more or less, cell phones in the hands of people. We have 92 million and 70% poverty. The conclusion is a lot of poor people have cell phones because it is already a necessity. Now, the Philippine government paradigm of public service says that public office is a public trust, it is a privilege, and you're not supposed to have seek any compensatory reward from it. However, I mean, it's a full-time job. It's no different from another job where you want to be well-motivated and well compensated for the effort you put in. A fair day's wage for a fair day's work should be the paradigm. If you pay somebody really very in a very low manner, and you give him or her the opportunity to make a lot of money by giving the authority to approve large contracts, naturally there's always temptation being dangled. Why should we continuously test the mettle of our public servants? It's not fair to them. It's like a little child that you tell the little child, please stay there while you dangle a piece of candy in front of the child. Sooner or later, the child is going to walk and try to get the candy. Why should we do that to our public servants? For example, our barangay captains, they should serve without pay. They only receive honoraria. But it's a 24/7 job, and there are lots of conflicts of interest attached to them. And shouldn't the community bear the burden? Shouldn't the community, the barangay people, try to chip in also and pay the salary of the barangay captain who tries to serve them 24/7? What's fair is fair. And we cannot progress unless we realize that. And we cannot progress dealing with graft and corruption if we do not try to remove the temptation.
Let me proceed from the subject of corruption, Mr. President. It's becoming a habit to address you as one. This administration has been in constantly being attacked by the opposition on the issue of corruption. Now, how does it feel being the administration bet at this stage?
Well, naturally, I would really be a hypocrite to say that, you know, there are no negatives attached to it. There are. But we find ourselves in this situation. We are part of the administration. I'm proud of my track record. We continue to do good. Congressman Lagdameo, Governor Dominguez, our track records can be matched against anybody. And historically, if we retrace history, I don't think there has been any incumbent administration which was really popular with the people.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of a term of a president, there are always, you know, some failed expectations. Why? Because people hold you responsible for their lot. That's part of life, being an incumbent. Even at the end of the Ramos administration, it was not as popular as it was when it began, though